On the 8th of May 2026, the Singapore government just announced the biggest shake-up to executive condominiums since the scheme launched in 1995. 3 changes effective immediately. The MOP double, the first-time quota massively expand, the deferred payment scheme completely removed. If you're buying, upgrading, or investing in property right now, this affects you directly. Stay with me and I'll break it all down in the next 8 minutes. First, why did this happen? One word, prices. Look at this chart. In 2016, the median EC price was 782 per square foot. By April 2026, 1,843 per square foot. That's a 136% increase in 1 decade. EC prices have more than doubled. The latest launch, Revel Tampines, sold 92% of units on launch day at 1,893 per square foot. A 1,000 square feet unit at the price cost nearly 1.85 million. And EC meant to be more affordable than private condos is now pricing out the very people it was designed for. And here's the data that really alarmed the government. In 2020, about half of EC buyers were first-timers. By 2024 and 2025, that dropped to just 30 to 40%. Second-timer armed with sale proceeds from their first home were outcompeting first-timer buyer at every launch. On top of that, 75% of EC owners on the open market were selling within 5 years of their MOP, up from 45% in the preceding period. Owners were treating ECs as short-term investment flip, not a home. The government saw enough and they acted decisively. Under the old rules, you had to occupy your EC for 5 years before selling. After 10 years, full privatizations. Anyone could buy, including foreigners. Under the new rules, MOP is now 10 years. You cannot sell, cannot rent your whole unit, cannot buy another property for a full decade. Full privatization is now pushed to 15 years, up from 10. Why? Because when 75% of owners were cashing out immediately after MOP, the government extended the holding period to discourage speculation and bring EC prices back down to earth. If you're a genuine home buyer planning to live there, this doesn't hurt you. If you were buying to flip, the game is over. Previously, 70% of EC units were reserved for first-timers, but only for the first 1 month. After that, second-timer could come in. Now, 90% of unit reserved for first-timers, and that priority window extended to 2 full years. Only after 2 years can developer open sales to second-timer. This is a direct response to first-timers being crowded out. If you're buying your first home and you're qualified for an EC, you just got a massive advantage at the ballot. As MND put it, this will provide greater support for young married couples and families looking to buy their first home. The third change, the Deferred Payment Scheme or DPS, is gone. Under DPS, buyers only paid 20% upfront and deferred the remaining 80% until the project got its TOP. Sounds attractive, but it comes with a 2 to 3% price premium. On a $1.8 million EC, that's up to $54,000 extra. More importantly, DPS make it easier for investors to hold units without full financial commitment, filling speculative demands. From today, all EC buyers must use the normal payment scheme, progressive payment tied to construction milestones. You want to buy an EC? You're committing fully from day one. And here's the bigger play the government is making. Minister Chi said directly, we also hope this will result in developers reducing their bids and the prices for their ECs. Less speculative demands, developer bid lower for EC land, lower launch prices. That's the chain reaction they're engineering. Let me speak to 3 groups quickly. If you're a first-time buyer, today is good news. 90% of unit is reserved for you. 2 years head start over second-timer. Less competition at the ballot. Buy to live in it long term, and the 10 years MOP is not your enemy. It's just normal home ownership horizon. If you're an HDB upgrader, you have a clear choice to make. New EC with lower entry price, but 10 years MOP lock-in. Resale EC past its MOP, not affected by today's rule. Or private condo, more flexibility, but higher price. There's no one answer that fits all. It depends on your timeline and finances. If you already own an EC, take a breath. Today's measure only applies to new GLS site with tender closing date from 8th of May 2026 onwards. 5 upcoming projects are exempted. Senja Close, Sembawang Road, Miltonia Close, and the 2 Woodlands Drive 17 sites. If you are in an existing project, your OMOP and the privatization timeline still apply. Nothing changes for you. Here's the bottom line. It's not a crisis. It's a reset and a necessary one. The EC scheme was drifting from its original purpose. Prices double. First-timers were losing out. Investors were flipping. The government stepped in to fix that. For genuine home buyers who qualify, the door just got wider. For investors relying on the EC flip playbook, that's over. Every viewer here has a different situation, different income, different property journey, different timeline. So drop your question in the comments. I read every single one and reply personally. If this video helped you make sense of the news, hit like and subscribe for weekly no-fluff Singapore property breakdown. I'll see you in the next one.